So I'm slipping this battery in, which is the little Trunk Thunder Lithium 10K version 1, a little 20 amp hour battery. It ain't been charged for a while. I want to see if it'll start the car. Can we run the car off of this tiny little thing? I mean, she ain't very big, you know. I got the other guy sitting over here. She ain't very big and she ain't been charged in a minute. I wonder if it's gonna have enough juice to just fire this thing right up. I got a lot of faith in my Trunk Thunder Lithium battery. This one's got some age on it. It's a couple years old. It's only 20 amp hours. I can't do this with one hand. I guess I can do the touch. No sparks. We'll have to see what happens. All right, I got it finger tight on here, and looks like the light's on back here. So let's go do the test, guys. Let's go do it. Let's find out. Well, that little dude handled this car. I've been sitting up for a while. How well is it going to start? We'll find out shortly. There we go. Got ding dings. All lights. Ooh, that started easy. That radio fired up. Yeah. That's what we're talking about right there. It just fired right up. I mean, it started quick. I love it. Got no lights on, except the seatbelt one, because the door's open. And that shows all showing up. Everything's like it's supposed to be. That's cool, man. Heck yeah, I literally finger tightened the bolts too. They're not even tight. They're just finger tight. Just fired right up. Oh, love that little battery, man. Crazy stuff. I mean, seriously, look at this. It's just finger tight. I just tightened it up. Same thing with that one. That's finger tight. That's not even tight. Look at that. So this bar is pretty close to this metal, but this whole back side has a plastic, and it's going to be locked in place. It can't get any closer. It bugs me, but it's going to be rigid. So yeah, fun times. I think I like that better. Just turned it around. Just got to make it stay in that pocket. It's got shell all around it. Makes me feel better that, yeah. So we know that little battery can support 8,000 watts on a stock alternator. It's going to be able to handle whatever I put back here. That's for damn sure. Yeah, baby. We just got to finish. Now I need to get me my ground from over here to the amp area figured out. I've already been tossing ideas around. Of course, you guys know that if you're watching this series. But I can run off the battery because I got the extra thingamajiggers. And if you're wondering about these things, you can pick these up over at GP Car Audio. They're actually alternator, 2-spot and 4-spot alternator deals. So you should be able to find them. And they're like 20 bucks or something like that. But I've been using these things forever for all kinds of stuff, so they're very handy because they fit in that little space right there, and most of those multi-tab deals don't fit in that space, so they're perfect for that kind of thing. But yeah, I can run a ground from here. This is the body. This is literally the only ground in the car that goes to the battery. It's really crazy, and that's the way it comes from the factory. It's got a single ground. It's got an 8-gauge ground from the factory that connects right there and goes to the battery, factory battery. And that's literally the only ground connected to the battery in the car. Now it's got grounds up in the front from the alternator and stuff, but this is it. So the car starts through that body ground right there. Isn't that crazy? And it carries the current. So I mean, I could literally take this piece of metal and jump off of it over there. I don't feel comfortable doing that though, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and go with a thing. Build me some kind of ground bracket over here with a multi-point distribution, because I want to be able to run some big grounds and some small grounds up into this area. I think that's what we'll probably do. You know, looking around, I'm like, you know, I've got enough wire, because I don't need the grounds running over here to this power distribution. They're going to get split off over there, and I've got all this extra wire. I could easily run the grounds, both of those two grounds over here, and connect them that way. You know, common ground points are always a good idea if you can possibly do it, because it eliminates system noise, or at least it's one thing that can eliminate it. These are my speaker wires here, all of them, plus a couple of extra wires. So, and then my signal wires are, right now it's hanging over here, but it's going to end up coming in from the top up there, I'm pretty sure, to the DSP. So yeah, I can separate these because they're actually a pair. I can separate them and back this up enough to where I got enough slack to do that, and then run over here. But I still need to power the DSP and ground and remote the DSP. The remote will be easy. It'll jump off the amplifiers, or it'll feed the amplifiers actually. But I still got to power and ground the DSP, and those are two small wires. So where am I going to hook that ground up to? Just, I guess I could just, I don't know. Got to think everything. I showed you the 2 spots. This is one of the 4 spots. Yeah, these are handy, guys. I'm thinking this could be a ground distribution block over here. Now I could run a bolt through this and nut and all that and do the whole thing, but I don't really need to, because I'm going to come in with the ground and attach it, and then use the other ground outputs for the grounds to go up to the amplifiers. So it'll be probably inadvertently grounded on the body, but its primary ground source is going to be coming from a big old wire over there, big old alt gauge. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I ain't nailed it down yet. I've also got to come up with a way to attach it, and I'm trying to be the least amount destructive I can, so I'm cooking in my brain right now. But yeah, gpcaraudio.com. I don't have any kind of sales affiliate codes or anything with them, but certain bits and pieces are just really cool here. And I'm pressing my button with my leg, and it made my car try to lock itself. It is what it is. I could mount it on my wood back here. That would work pretty good. The only thing is, I got to make accommodations for these bolts, because they come out the bottom just a little bit. So I need to either build me a spacer to put up under here, or I need to bore out some space for the bolts to go in. I could do either one. I figure I can run a screw through the middle with a washer on it, and that'll pin it to the board. I could just get a little block and set up under there to kind of raise the boy up just a tad, but I've also got to consider that the carpet needs to sit in here pretty cool, so maybe boring it out a little bit is a better choice. Well, I got an idea. What I'm going to do is set it in place and then tappy tap tap on the bolts and make little dents in the wood. That way I have my marks of where I need to make holes or whatever I'm going to do. A little tappy tap tap, and we got ourselves some little circles we can see there, so we know where to put our holes at. Good times. Little paddle bed action, and now we have some depressions here, so our bolts can sit right in there and have plenty of room to go up and down, up and down, up and down. All right, just a simple pinhead screw with a washer, and she is bolted down solid to that piece of wood. And of course, this is a ground block, so even if it was to come loose and go anywhere, it wouldn't really do anything to cause any problems. But I wanted it to be stealthy, and that's what we got. Now I just got to come up with a connection to connectify everything into the connection identifications. Yeah, I got a big old chunk of GP America Series wire. I like how what they write on here. So yeah, it's a Marine Automotive, made in the USA, America. Yeah, she reaches. You can always tuck it right in here. This part goes up under there. That part goes right there. And then it can just swoop right into the whole situation. Things are improving situationally. After a bunch of cleaning, I got this whole panel cleaned up. Now we're going to deaden on this panel, but I'm also going to bury that ground wire. I still haven't tightened it up yet. I'll tighten it up once I get it completely secure. Right now I got the heat gun running. I'm going to grab it by hand and do it, but I'm just warming that space up and warming that material up right now. Of course, this metal didn't really need any sound deadening. It's really rigid and pretty thick and well shaped and all that, but this is mainly just for containment, to keep my wire in place. Not having to put any bolts or screws here keeps the integrity of this well, this trunk well, in place, because it's a, you know, it's a water area. So I wanted to try to keep it as much as I can, and that's why I just used this deadener to basically contain the wire. And yeah, good times. All right, got my grounds connected, and I went ahead and pre-stripped these. I may end up having to strip them again at some point, but just in case, you know, it's easier to strip them out here than it is to try to do it in there. So I went ahead and just pre-stripped them. I want to have tons of extra wire, so if I have to re-strip them, it's no big deal. I'm just going to run through the hole. All right, we've got our grounds connected there. Everything is tightened up. So you do some neatening and things. All right, we got our DSP ground added. Nice ring terminal. Everything is funky dory. And this guy here will go in and kind of come out up yonder somewheres. So we got all the grounds hooked up. Got to work on the power side. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually hook it up yet, because I don't really want a bunch of live things, but we're getting there. Now, I use a little bit of deadener on these wires to stiffen up this whole harness so it stays together and doesn't get pinched or pulled in any way. Also to hold this wire going up so it doesn't get between this board and the one that's going to go on here. I don't want anything to get broken or pinched, so I'm just kind of tucking things out of the way and using some of this pieces of deadener to make them stay there. Right. That's basically how things are going to go. So power and ground coming out to the amplifiers. I'll cut them the length I need them, and then I'll cut them along, but then I'll shove the slack back in there so I have enough room to pull them out. I want to be able to move this stuff out without disconnecting everything. And I got my ground wire right here for the DSP. I got my power wire right here for the DSP. Got my signal wires right there for the DSP. Power wire runs down here for the DSP with the other two power wires. They'll all get in there. And we're getting somewhere. We got our ground set up over here for everything. We're starting to get pathing worked out. I've got a board built, but I got to wait for this other amplifier. The Slaps Mini 5 is going on the board, and I can finish that. And then once that gets here, that goes in, stuff starts getting hooked up, things start happening in a big way. Got the ground sorted over there, a new battery installed, it's tightened down, the connections are all tight, the car is drivable in this state, which is what I want to try to maintain. That as I work on things, I want to maintain drivability. You never know when you're going to need to. Everything is hidden and tucked. Once the panel in his goes back in here, it totally hides everything except for these wires, which are going to be minimal, running over here, and then the red RCA's on this side of the amp rack. Yeah, I'm liking it.